evening, and welcome to the Heikadelic Show. We would like to take this moment to let you know that viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. So sit back, have yourself a nice cool drink or hot drink, and enjoy the show. And welcome once again to the Heikadelic Show.
You better subscribe to Pine Tree Line Outdoors, and here's why. Have a look. It's been an incredible time. Aubrey Falls. Why are we here? What is this abomination behind us? Okay.
Hey, boys!
How's it going?
Wow, you guys are all looking mighty fine today. What's going on?
Who?
All you guys, you look awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Derek, I thought you got abducted.
I did.
Boom,
I just got taken away by an alien.
And not
I came back. It was a gray.
Right.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Hi, Shauna. How are you? We got fans on already.
Oh, hey, Sean. How's it going?
So hello to all you fans out there. Thanks for joining the Heikadelic Show. We're happy to have you.
Absolutely.
And if you got some cool topics or questions you want to share with us or ask us, we don't have the answers, but it might be fun anyway.
Big bonjour.
Uneducated advice.
Big bonjour to the Indie Rock Radio fans.
Our fans in Montreal.
And Montreal. And our peeps on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So yeah.
We may or may not have a guest tonight. So
well, we'll see how he's feeling, right?
Yeah. So anyway, I think he'll be on.
Our guest had his COVID shot today, so he's not 100% about how he's feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I hear "aw muffin"?
Yeah. Oh, muffin. Yeah.
Oh, muffin. Hang on a minute.
That's an animal.
Oh,
that is. This is bourbon.
I saw something move behind you, and I go, "What the hell was that?"
Right.
He seems to be really barking tonight. We put up a new bird feeder out front, and all day he's been barking at the front window.
Well, I think there are a lot of weird things happening because I'm seeing a lot more like coyotes and wolves come up on the yard and stuff and howling and all of that stuff. So, but I'm wondering if it's in anticipation for the UFO disclosure release on Thursday this week.
Are the coyotes looking up at the sky or what?
I don't.
They could
be. No, it seems like they're rallying up in packs, right? So.
They're getting ready for the Martians.
Guys, just in.
Hey, this is Spiffy Vengeance, and I'm reporting for the Heikadelic Show. In behind me, you can see the world's going on as we speak. It's amazing. It's a light show. It's over the Pickering Darlington nuke plant, but we're not sure what's going on. We think it's aliens, because if you watch, we've been watching this for almost an hour now, and the light show is incredible. What we thought was just a storm appears to be possibly alien invading the Durham region. This is Stiffy Vengeance, and I am going to try and stay awake and watch the show behind me, and hopefully I won't get probed. See you on the Heikadelic Show Monday night.
I think Spiffy's an alien. That little chin and the giant fucking head. Oh, God. So what's new, boys?
Not too much. My bird feeder.
Wow, that's about it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, yes.
Yeah, that was good. We did Christmas over the weekend because it was 6 months late, but we did it.
Nice.
6 months late.
Yeah, we had
the whole family.
Had the whole family over. We had a Christmas tree out on the back deck. Christmas music playing. Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
Was it a live Christmas tree?
No.
Did you put lights up and everything for your neighbors?
Yeah, there was lights up. We had baubles all around. It was
Wow.
The only problem is everyone leaves, and then you have to take it all down again.
I'll leave it up for 6 months.
You know what I do? You leave all the lights up everywhere. You just take the extension cord away, and then when you need them, you plug it back in, flip the switch, and lights are on. Good to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it'd be too cold to be out there in December.
I still have my lights and my trees on my front lawn.
Well, a lot of people, when your trees are in the front lawn, you leave them in.
Yeah, right? Yeah. What the heck?
And then you just, as the tree grows, you just add more lights to it and hope that no bulbs at the top break.
That's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's the ones that are still around the house, the top of the house, and they're there all year long.
Oh yeah.
We drive past those places, but yeah, it's cool.
So that's cool. So, Derek, you got a bird feeder. George, you had Christmas this weekend.
Yeah.
How about you, Ringo? What's new with you?
I pulled another golf cart in, so I did some cleaning and reorganizing. Every time I finish a project, I like to tidy up. So yeah, I spent last couple of days doing that, and I'm working on my bug out trailer as well, and got all the parts and pieces for that. So I'm having a good old time doing that.
Nice.
Yeah. So and Derek, wasn't it your birthday last week?
A couple weeks ago.
Oh, a couple of weeks ago. Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Week before, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
So whose birthday was it? There's a lot of birthdays in
June.
Yeah, actually, it's
September's busy for people.
Yeah, getting busy. So, must have been boring, bad weather.
Chilly, right?
Yeah. So I found that there was somebody complaining, actually more than one person complaining on Facebook and Instagram about how they're trying to shop local and they're getting, hey, I'll call you back. So I'll give you an example. Okay. When you call to let's say look for a part for something and you call ahead.
Yep.
So you'll get somebody saying, yeah, I'll get back to you, and they don't. And I don't want to stereotype and say that's every store, but so this person, the one person, I just can't think of the name. Well, it's probably not fair if I bring it up. Just tried 3 different locations locally to buy locally, and then decided, you know what, I can get the part on Amazon. It was there the next day. So I know, with COVID, it's really put people in a I guess in a bad way. Anybody who's essential is probably tired as heck, and if they get vacation time, it's well deserved. And I think bouncing back from a lot of the stores that had to stay closed, I noticed small hardware stores and everything, they've gotten resourceful and set up drive-throughs. And I have to say that I don't know if I like it. It's so you have to be in a line for quite a long time. And what I've tried 3 of these different drive-throughs, and so let's say you want nuts and bolts, right?
Yep.
Well, then you get to the window, and unfortunately, that person at the window doesn't have experience to take they don't know the Big Mac and fries, let's say, right? So I'm asking them for okay, I need self-tapping screws, flathead, blah blah blah. So it takes long enough for, once I place that order, I ordered about 6 things, and then I get to the window, they've got everything piled up there. It's all wrong, all of it. And she tries to argue with me that no, these are flat. No, they're not flat. So that sucks. But at the end of the day, I ended up having to call a manager, which there's a lineup of cars behind me. Now this was before this, the first phase of opening, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that, just hang in there and try not to, be nice to your customers. You want your customers to be nice to you, and it's tough. It's tough for everybody. But like and one of the big burger chains, and this is why I would encourage anybody out there to go to the Burger Stop,
Country Stop Burger,
yeah,
Ballantrae,
Country Stop,
Ontario.
exactly. Go there before you go to the big,
conglomerates.
Yeah, conglomerates. We'll leave
Yeah. Because, the fast food chains.
Yeah, like those are getting horrible right now. I mean, orders like where I used to say that they put a straw in the bag, and that was one of their KPIs, like a key performance indicator. It was like a quality check. So if you found the straw, then you know what? They've gone through a check because your straw is in there.
Yeah.
A few years back, you'd never even get a straw, right?
Right.
And again, not to stereotype, but what ends up happening is it's not about the straw now. They screw up the order, right? So I've gone to this this big, a big chain 4 times now, and they've screwed up every time.
Yep.
Not to mention when I order coffee, it's just not even fixed right. So
there's also the human factor in that too, right? You have the person taking the order. So you got Betty or the grandma or the teenager who puts it into the system. If they don't quite hear you, they just put in whatever. And then Bob reads it to Sally, who makes the tea. And then Bob goes and makes the sandwich. And Jen goes and gets the donuts.
Right.
So the human factor there's going to be a mistake every time.
Yeah. Well, it's like when they called out, enemy ships in a submarine, right? From back to front before they had communications.
Yeah. Deutschland über alles. Thanks, Keisha.
Wow.
What does that mean?
It means Germany over everything.
Everything.
Yeah. It's just the thing they say, at the games and stuff, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, what you're saying, the chain of command to get an order through, like our favorite coffee shop, you go to it, right? Yep. So you speak to the mic, to the speaker, and you say, I want blah 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 blah. So now they're punching it in the system. It comes up right on the freaking screen, right in front of your face.
Yep.
And they read it back to you. So that was blah 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 blah. Yep. So if that order is wrong, it's your fault because you didn't look at it and correct them. Maybe they put it in wrong, but if that is what you ordered and that's what's on the screen, if there's a mistake made after, yes, they screwed up.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's done at the beginning. And I don't want to stereotype certain people, whatever, but I find we have a couple local establishments here,
like
big food chains. And but if we go there, if we have ladies taking the orders, filling the bags, it's pretty much always right. Sorry to say this, but a lot of times we have the young kids.
Guys, right? You're right.
It's screwed up almost every time.
You're onto something because ambition today is like that. Right.
It's the ambition and it's the I don't give a crap attitude.
But whose fault is that? That's our fault because those are our kids.
Yeah. Well, those aren't my kids. My kids are over here and that's somebody else's kids. No, but I'm just saying.
But I'm saying us as a whole, like.
Well.
The age group.
Yeah. It's
generation.
It's the age group, the generation, and quite frankly, nobody does anything about it. Good evening, Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
And if you have all these complaints coming through and people aren't doing their jobs, get rid of them. There's enough people out there looking for work. If you have people in there that don't give a rat's ass of what they put in the bag, fire them. Get rid of them. Because all they're doing is they're giving their store a bad name. People going, oh, I'm not going to that one down the street. They suck. I'm going to go to the next town and go over there, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's and that attitude is rampant right now. It's bizarre.
Well, even prior to like all the virus thing, like last year, if I went in like a big store and there was checkout lines and there was like this self checkout,
right?
Yeah.
I would never use a self checkout. I'll even line up. It takes me a bit longer. I'll do it. No, I even did it the other day, and Lizzie's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "No, I'm not doing it."
No, you're keeping people working.
Yeah. And what pisses me off though is you get to the whoever's
Yeah, you get to the till,
and you get this miserable person. That really gets me. I go, why am I doing?
Well, and you know what? I've said stuff to those miserable people because they were really miserable and cranky.
Oh, yeah. I had a couple
throwing stuff in your bags, and it said, "Hey,
don't even say hello."
If you don't like your job, please don't come to work with that kind of an attitude. I came here to get you to do this because I'm trying to keep you employed. If I didn't care about you, I would go over there to the self-checkout.
Yeah, I'd be on my way home by now. I'd be like,
and I do voice myself sometimes. I try not to be rude, but I try to tell people like, hey, come on, right?
Yeah. So I was at a fish and chip place in a small town recently, about 2 weeks ago, I guess. Yeah. And so every time I go into this place, it costs me like $70, but it's great. It's great stuff. Okay. So the owner's always working, right? And I said, so what's up with your staff? He goes, they don't want to come to work because they're collecting CERB.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Why? Yeah. And he says, I don't even know if I'm going to get them back. Yeah. And I said, well, it's not going to last forever, right? So,
no. Sir, I just want to say hi, Sturgeon Falls person. Wow, it's not too many times. A buddy of mine grew up from Sturgeon Falls, and
why did he just come up there? I didn't see it.
Yeah. Well, it's on. Yeah, I'm looking at it differently than you probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Ringo, what were the couple names before Murph? I didn't get those.
Sean McNabb.
Who?
Sean.
Yeah, Sean Skull McNabb.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Kathy, Keisha, Richard,
and Shauna
Archer.
Okay, yeah, I think I just missed Sean. Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Sorry. What's on Derek's t-shirt? A couple of.
Oh yeah, okay. So my t-shirt today is a friend band, the Electric Dead. Which
I like it.
They probably have the best merch going. Like these guys are awesome. Yeah, great guys too, and they have great music too.
Well, okay, if they're that great, give them a good plug, and maybe you people out there, if you like what you see, go onto their website and buy some merch.
Check out the Electric Dead.
The Electric Dead.
You'll see their merch everywhere if you see the Toronto scene.
So like just go Electric Dead, and it'll come up.
Yeah, it'll come up.
Right?
Pardon?
The Electric Dead.
The Electric Dead, baby. Actually, I was thinking about talking to the singer, guitarist, and seeing if he would come on. He's like a very big guy, right? Like 6'4", 200 plus, solid, and he's a teacher, but he also does like sword fighting and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I forget which one he's in. He's not like the Viking sword. He's more like the traditional. I'm gonna slice your head 3 times before it hits the ground type of.
Yeah.
Right. So I see MJ's on. Hey, MJ. Mary Jane.
Oh, Mary Jane.
Yep. Well, she's not saying hi to us. She's saying hi to Kathy. So we don't matter to her. Thanks a lot, MJ.
That's all right.
Tam's.
Was that?
Tamara. Yeah. Tams. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not. She's a self-checkout person.
Yeah. I could understand Tamara being a self-checkout person. That stands to reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's not going to take no crap.
Right.
Well, and that's the thing. If you've had a lot of bad experiences with cashiers, people start doing that.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I've stuck up for cashiers before. You know, you have a trainee on, and the paper spool runs out, and they're fumbling with it. They don't know how to do it. They're getting frustrated, and then you got some impatient son of a you know what standing in front of them, bitching them out because they're in a hurry.
Yeah.
So I've stood up a lot of times for a cashier and told people to, mind themselves, keep their mouth shut. She's training, obviously, you can't see. And if you're in that much of a hurry, you should have got your ass in a bed sooner. Yeah,
and I
will stand up for people.
I don't want to come off as because we supported any frontline worker and anybody in food services. They kept us fed and everything else, but now like it's kind of lifted a bit in terms of like some of the restrictions. And then, I'm not shy to say it, but it was Mickey D's that had, 4 times, same place, just wham, wham, wham. And I'm thinking they must get a lot of complaints, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are places that were pretty good at, as far as, the big coffee thing, Timmy's, I have not had any issue. To your point, it's up on the screen.
It's right in front of your face.
And
right?
you know what, if you say, hey, you know what, you didn't mix it right, they'll happily do it again for you. But
absolutely,
and give you the one that you had.
Right. And then the other big chains, they have the thing on the screen, but I think they're trying, part of it, I got to think the 4 times I was there, once there was barely any lineup. The other 3 times there were big lineups. So they're trying to do too much too quickly. And I guess, again, to your point, Heiko, about, look, they're sending that back to so-and-so and that person's passing it on to somebody else, and they're doing all this piecemeal work to get your order together.
Yeah.
But there needs to be that quality check, I think. But maybe we're not ready for that right now.
I don't know. I was in a store with Alana today, and the both of us were looked at each other time and time again, and we're going, oh my God. And then the lady came in behind us, and we're all chatting, we're looking. There was 2 people at the till in the store. They worked there. And there was 2 people trying to pay for a laptop. Now, it was $1,134. Like, we could hear them, right? With some change.
Yeah.
Do you know those 4 people counted that cash 7 times?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what the funny
and
thing?
It's like, do you want me to come and do that for you? Like, are you kidding me? If it's not a number on a freaking computer screen,
oh my God,
no clue what it is.
No kidding. Wow. Like I found that so much recently with, maybe I will stereotype, but it's younger society. The fact is a few things, right? When it comes to like kids that are really good with numbers, that's cool. But when it comes to adding and just some basic stuff, it's like, wait a minute, I'm not into mathing. Or telling time, looking at an analog clock, unless it's digital, they can't tell time. And it's like, my God, they don't teach us shit in school anymore.
Not anymore. No, it's not important.
Curriculum's changed since obviously we've been there, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't teach home ec, they don't teach your checkbook.
I know. But you know what the cashier or the lady at the cash started doing that was there with her coworker? She actually took her cell phone out. She went right up to the screen on their till, took a picture of the screen, and then showed it to the lady and zoomed in on the freaking numbers. And she did that twice.
See, and this is my rant.
Well, that was nice. She helped her.
Go for it. Rant.
I wonder if I have...
Hey, can we have a drink before?
I think George has got to play us our drinking song.
I didn't want to interrupt the flow.
I know. Cheers, everybody.
I
hate upsetting Heiko at the moment.
Oh, I know.
One banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4.
Yeah.
And whoever guesses the name of that song wins all my love and honor.
That's right.
Yeah.
All of it? Oh, wow.
Well, okay, most of it.
You're not going to share with us anymore?
Huh?
You're not going to share with us anymore?
No, nice. No. Well, you always got it. I got enough to go around, Heiko.
Okay, so this is my little rant here. And,
tell us, buddy. Tell us.
Because you kind of when we talked about kids mathing and doing all that stuff, right? So yeah, clocks. Analog clocks. I mean, not every clock is digital. So if you have a wristwatch that's an analog, which is quite stylish, by the way.
Yes.
I.e. Rolex, if I'm going to, get all the bling and stuff like that and get a Rolly and then kind of, you
go to any school or government facility, they're all analog clocks on the wall.
Exactly. So if you can't read an analog clock, that's one of the very, very basic skills. But then if you dial it back, there's the old sundial, right?
Well,
yeah,
that's
okay. Yeah. And that's where you really need to take it and understand what a sundial does, because we learned that. Okay. And then this is where I could broaden this discussion to a whole series, because I think like basic skills, like starting a fire in the woods, right? I learned I learned one recently, which is very cool. You can start a fire with pee. Did you know that?
Yes, I have. I know this one.
Yeah. So
Pee in a bag?
You pee in a bag.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. And then I guess. Well, I don't know if the concentrate.
Well, no, it's
affects it at all.
because the bag's
The
concave.
bag's curved now.
Right.
So
So,
what-
it
what
acts
does-
like a magnifying glass.
Yep.
So you beat the sun through the bag. I mean, you don't beat anything else, but you beat the sun
I
through
do.
the bag. I know. And then you get a little tinder and you start a fire. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm not going to drink my own pee when I'm out doing survival stuff. I'm going to save it to light a fire. But those are the basics, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I always say, you can drop me naked in the middle of nowhere. And maybe we'll just try it as a Heiko experiment sometime.
Yeah.
The Heiko experimental. Yeah. So,
Naked and Afraid, the Heiko edition.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid. I wouldn't. I'd fashion some kind of footwear first of all, and then I'd get something around the twig and berries.
That depends on where you are. Depends on where you are.
Well, if it's the middle of winter, I don't know. Middle of winter, I could do it.
Yeah. But see, I've heard stories from other men about their kids driving their cars, right? When they're first starting to learn how to drive, they first get their license.
Yeah.
The one guy, he said, my daughter took our car out that night. She was supposed, responsible, everything, blah, blah, blah. Yep. And he gets this frantic phone call, right? And his daughter called him and said the car needs gas. And he goes, well, go to the gas station to put gas in. She had no idea where to put the gas in the car.
Yeah, that's parents' fault again.
Absolutely. And this is what I've done myself with my own kids. Keisha's probably listening, and she knows the story very well. She, at the beginning, she got her license, and she said, Dad, I got a job down the road now at Timmy's. I'd like to drive one of the cars. I said, okay, you could drive the pickup. It's right over there. But come with me. And she's like, what? I said, come here. I said, you got clean clothes on? No. Make sure you got something you get dirty. And she's like, why? What's up? Said, I got to show you something. Before you're going to get the keys to that car, come here. And I showed her, I actually sat in a lawn chair drinking a beer, and I explained to her while she did it how to change a tire. I said, when you're driving down the road and you get a flat, what are you going to do?
CAA.
You're 2.5 hours away and you're going to call Dad? Well, Dad's not driving 2.5 hours to change a tire, and you're not going to get waved down some jerk off, like a young kid right in the middle of summer. You're not going to flag somebody stranger down to help you change a tire because you never know. I said, you're going to know how to do it before you drive that vehicle. She's like, Dad, well, you know what? She changed that bloody tire all by herself. And I said, here you go.
Yeah, my daughter.
You got to teach them.
Yeah. My daughter had a tail light out, and she changed it. She ordered it from Canadian Tire and changed it herself. Mm-hmm. Not the first time she's done it. But yeah, it's basic. But what I did on the definitely on the breakdown thing, it's something that you never know what can happen. So I ended up I've got a CAA premium, so they should just send the car wherever, right?
And that's a good thing. But you know what? The problem is they don't teach life skills anymore at all.
No.
And if we don't do it, I'm sorry, but the poor kids, you can't blame them. They've never been taught.
Well, you know what, and we probably need to change topic soon. But the here's the other thing that it doesn't sit right with me is like right now. Well, my daughter just graduated from health science, and so has a degree and all of that. So it's amazing that and she got honors and stuff. But like it's amazing that she's very committed. Okay, but kids in high school, any grade really, COVID has been such a negative impact because you know, the homeschool learning, and you know, we've talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
Homeschool or sending your kids to school and risking the virus, right? Well, tit for tat, because it's everything has an outcome, and unfortunately, you know, you see kids that have kind of moved through almost 2 years now of school, and they're not, a lot of them are not doing well. And it's funny because I don't, you know, maybe I'm aloof to this, but I don't hear any ratios. You remember when they used to have class median and stuff like that in terms of scores and all of that? I haven't heard squat about that. I think homeschooling, you know, you got to have the right kind of person. It's like working at home, right? You have to be very self-disciplined to do it. And a lot of kids aren't, because they're social and all of that. Doesn't mean that they go to school and just socialize all day. I mean, they learn as well. Some of them just socialize, right? But homeschooling sucks because, you know, there's really no governance over it. You know, what do they do? Track your mouse moves, or, you know, but it's...
Well, you don't want me teaching a kid, right? Because I'm not the most book smart person in the world, right? Like, I'm not going to be able to figure out the math questions or whatever, you know what I mean?
But you know what you know, right?
Right, but here's the thing, okay? So when you have a class, okay, so let's say you have, I don't know what the ratio is anymore, but say you have 30 kids in your class, okay?
That's pretty much what it is.
Okay, so you got 30 kids in your class. So as a good teacher, you know every one of those kids in terms of their personality. And, you know, why do we detect things like learning ability and look at, you know, it's because we're interfacing. We're getting to see those people, those kids one-on-one. So it's a proven scientific fact that when there are different personalities, right? A-type personality, which is more of a driver. You've got your analytical type of person. You've got your one that really is task oriented, and then ones that are practical, right?
Yes.
And it used to be stereotyped that, oh, well, you know, the A-type personality and analytical or whatever, they're going to be doctors. Well, it doesn't go that way. I'm sorry.
No.
Very talented people, geniuses. Elon Musk being one of them, right? Like, I mean, he's saying, well, you know, you don't need a piece of paper to prove that you've got ingenuity and you're able to perform on his team, which is great. But my point is that I think it was really effective when you had classrooms, because you got to know the personalities of the kids and or not, you know, young adults, but you got to understand how they learn. And so, quick example, if you get a kid who's a bit of a driver, a little bit bullish in that, all right, demanding things out of them is not going to happen, right? I mean, they're just going to tune out. So you got to find a different method, right? So so there's all of that psychological impact, I think, on classroom learning that you don't get from homeschooling necessarily. Anyway,
back in the day, if you didn't want to pay attention, it was the teacher had the yardstick, and that was it.
I remember the yardstick. I remember.
Bam.
Actually, Murph, is this somebody you guys know, or is it the Murph I know?
I don't know. I can't see the messages.
It's Murph from Murph. Murph from Canada. Murph.
Yeah, it's got to be Murph. You know, I don't know any Murph.
Okay, so it's the Murph I know. Then the yardstick went after him one time. What was his name? The teacher's last name started with a D, and Murph used to antagonize him all the time, and to the point where I swear I think he broke a yardstick across his knuckles or something, which I don't advocate violence, but you know what, sometimes you gotta say, hey, WFT,
I know,
smarten up. But anyhow,
so totally off topic. I remember you guys all said what happened for you guys, that what's new, but I didn't have a go at it.
Okay, have a go. Quick
So
go.
what's new with you, Ike? How you
No,
doing?
It was my wife's birthday today, so we had a day out. We got up at 5 a.m. and headed out. And I'll do it this way. My wife says to all her friends that she's been talking to, they ask what you got for your birthday, and she goes like this. She goes, "Well, Heiko, he didn't take me out for a day at the spa, or for a getaway at a vineyard, or a relaxing massage. He got me blank." Guess what I got her?
Blank.
Any ideas? No.
No.
A frying
No
pan.
idea.
No. Totally off. I'll
car?
just tell you. No, but something for the car.
Air freshener.
No, she has a 2020 Grand Cherokee with the Hemi in it.
Yeah.
Right. I got her a high performance exhaust system for the Jeep.
Nice.
Wow.
And you should hear it. Oh my God, it sounds like a freaking race car. And she was giggling and laughing her ass off all day. She just loves it.
Loves it? Great.
Just loves it. Just loves it. It's like a kid in the candy store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah, that's my news.
My sister was this weekend. And she was using my RC car, and my sister's like a big horse person, right? So
Right.
last thing I thought she was going to be into this, but I was letting my niece use it, and then I'm like, "You want to try it?" So it's got 3 settings: 50% power, 75, and 100. So I let her try it on 50% power just because it's pretty fast, right? So she tries it. She's like, "Oh, that's not too bad." I'm like, "Okay." So I put it on 75. She's like, "Oh, that's a little better." Put it on 100, and the same thing. She started giggling as soon as doing wheelies and stuff. She's like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!"
Yeah.
The giggle.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. So I heard giggling. That's maybe what was that story?
She's just been so excited all day, ripping around in her Jeep.
So a couple of things that we were kind of talking about earlier, I guess, in the week was
yes.
First of all, the vaccine, right? There's a lot of questions, and we invited Richard on, so I don't know if he's coming on or not, but he just a lot of people have gone through their first dose, so there's still a lot of people out that don't want to even be bothered with it. And then there's now they bumped everything up. So I got called for my second one on the 12th of July, which was originally on the 23rd of August. But the concern is that with the second, that there are symptoms that you're going to experience where a lot of people with the first didn't have much of an issue, but there were some people that did, kind of have some, weird things happen. But so the other thing is, like, George, you mentioned that you had
I had my second shot.
Your second shot, but it's like, and not to freak anybody out, but it sounds to me like at the beginning they said, look, don't mix brands. Exactly. But now it's okay to mix brands, right? Because it ups your probability of it being effective. Yeah. So, we're kind of, there's some back and forth and stuff like that. So,
they also at the beginning they were like, "Hey, AstraZeneca is awesome. This stuff is the best stuff in the world." And they had 2 out at the time. One's gone now, and now AstraZeneca, they're like, "Oh, the efficacy rate's only 76%."
Yeah.
And if you mix it with another one like Moderna or Pfizer, now it's up to 90%.
Yeah.
But are they going to come back in 3 months and go, "Oh, well, we found out that that's not what happens"? And
well,
it
and
just
now
seems every time.
Yeah.
Every time they tell you something, they backpedal 3 months later.
And some now they're saying, "Oh, well, we're going to need 3 shots instead of 2. We need another one."
And when you get your kids' vaccine when they're younger, did you have to sign a piece of paper saying that you are allowing the government to place this in your body?
Yeah,
I don't know, right? We all signed a waiver to get our shots this time.
Yeah, they already stated before they even started administering them that they're not responsible.
Yeah. Well, I
100% not responsible for anything that happens because of these shots.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what happens if the government says you can't? For an example, a friend of ours is moving to Quebec. he has to get both of his shots before he can move there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what now? So he goes there, and all of a sudden he can't work or something because of the shots.
Yeah.
But Quebec said he had to have the shots before he moved there. Quebec's now got to take care of him.
Yeah.
Because they said that he had to.
Look at Atlanta. Vroom, vroom. She loves her Jeep, man, I'll tell you. Happy birthday, dear.
Happy birthday, Lana.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, Jeeps are popular. I had a friend that just got one for her birthday as well. So
I got one stuck in a forest.
You know what?
Still.
With the Hemi in it, that thing goes like stink. Like, I can't believe the power those things have.
There's a 5.7?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what my girlfriend has.
365 horsepower.
Yeah.
In an SUV. It's like, come on.
Well,
right?
you get the SRT version of that, and it's whatever 600 and some odd horsepower.
No, they're 470.
Is it 470?
Yeah, and then you have the the Challenger. You have the Hellcat.
Yeah,
that's 500, and then you have the other key for 700.
What's the big Cherokee they have? Like the one above the SRT.
There's
I'm trying to think what they call it.
Trailhawk.
Yes, and that's the one that's like 700 or 800 horsepower.
It's 800 horsepower, and then a lot of guys, what they're doing now, they're chipping them to get 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, easy 1,000. Yeah.
Hey, Grace, nice to see you online.
I had a Caliber SRT, so it's a 4-cylinder, big 4, right?
Yes.
2.5 or 2.4, and when you chip that, that's almost 500 horsepower.
Yo.
You know what? I almost bought the Neon SRT when they first came out.
Yeah.
But they all had seats that were not powered; they were just on a rail.
Yep.
And they all had sunroofs, so I couldn't sit in the car. And then when the Caliber came out, same thing. I couldn't sit. I was going to buy one because they were freaking quick, right?
Oh, awesome car!
Unbelievable. I couldn't fit in the car.
And let me tell you, once they're chipped and you put injectors in it,
yeah,
it goes.
Yep.
That's
hi, Grace.
fastest car I
we got
ever.
Richard in the green room.
Oh, excellent!
Oh,
and that, ladies and gentlemen, was our motoring section for this week. We hope you enjoyed it.
Richard, look at that shirt you're wearing there, Richard.
Yeah, what do you think of that? Motor City Mania.
Oh, well, look at that.
Look at that.
He just wants more screen time. That's what it is.
So, fun.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah, we're just talking there about the second shots. I had mine last week, Richard, and I believe that you've got a really sore arm, right?
Yeah. I don't even know where to start with all this. But I got my second shot today. I got the Pfizer. My doctor advised it, so I went with that.
Yeah,
and I'm a little nervous because I have some friends that got it, and they were telling me that after the second shot is when you expect the body aches, fever, nausea. And I'm like, it's always good to have something to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
Well, I had my second shot last week, and normally I'm fine with jabs, but my arm hurt for like 2 days. That was the only, nothing else. Didn't have any.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But every time I rolled over, it's like waking me up.
Did you do the Pfizer, Moderna? What'd you do?
Moderna. I had 8 AstraZeneca back in April, and then Moderna this time.
Oh yeah, isn't it funny how they changed how you guys kind of touched on that, how they keep changing the narrative at first. Like, and this is just my opinion for everyone out there, strictly my opinion. But the way that I saw this whole thing going was that at first, all vaccines are safe. Go out and get the first one that's available. So people were going out and getting it and stuff, and then some cases started popping up of side effects, right? And then it was, there's some side effects, but it's really rare. And then it went from it's really rare to okay, well, there's going to be side effects. Everyone reacts differently. We expect this.
Yes.
And then it went, we have to pull. Which did they pull first? AstraZeneca and then Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
So they pull AstraZeneca. Oh, but all the rest are safe. Keep taking them. And then they pull Johnson & Johnson. Oh, but all the rest are safe. Keep taking them.
Yeah.
So it seems to keep changing the story to whatever is being proven that contradicts it.
Flavor of the day.
You know, like you said, like every couple of months, that they're changing what they're saying surrounding the vaccines.
Yeah, absolutely.
The left shoulder is sore.
Yeah, usually I'm okay with things like that, but when I went for my first shot in April, I got a text saying, such and such a time, whatever it was, 4:30 Saturday, whatever. Please don't arrive too early, just 5 minutes before, because whatever. And I thought, okay, so I got there like half an hour before. I'm just sat in the parking lot, and got to like 20 after. I thought, okay, I'll go in. It's got 5 minutes, right? So when I went last Tuesday, I did the same thing. Right, I just got an appointment at 5:20, whatever it was. I got there at like 4:55. I thought, well, it's a nice day. I'll just sort of lean on the van and wait. And I'm waiting. And I went in, at 5 minutes before my appointment's due, and the girl gives me like a clipboard with about 8 sheets of paper that I'd sign and tick off this. That's
yeah.
There's like, I'm not kidding. There's like 7 or 8 sheets.
Well,
I ended up being late then because I'm sat there filling up phones out.
Well, I'm not gonna sign all this mocky mock.
If you're worried about side effects after, Grace had the answer. She said, just take a Tylenol, you'll be good.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I think the best thing to do is like, Richard I think you said you were gonna just kind of take it easy, and if you can relax and sleep for a bit. I know my first shot made me a bit tired, but I might have been tired anyway because I go like the ever ready bunny sometimes. But I mean, different strokes, right? Well, I shouldn't say strokes.
I mean, every vaccine's everything anyone takes is going to affect everybody differently. I mean, there's no way around it, right?
Yeah.
But there's a guy I know he's in fantastic shape. 6-degree black belt in Hep Keto, and he was down and out for 2 days after he got his second shot. He said it's like someone beating with a bag of hammers. Like,
a bag of hammers. At least it wasn't
people that are that smart.
Bag of Richards.
Bag of Richards.
Cross our fingers here that I'll feel fine and everything. But
on the positive side, though, when that happens, when you get all the flu-like symptoms, I've heard that's supposed to show it's working really well. So I mean,
the analogy was that it's firing up the furnace to start fighting the stuff in your system and building up the antibodies and all that stuff.
Fighting it.
We'll see.
Yeah, Richard, maybe just adjust your camera down a little bit.
He wants to get his shirt in the picture.
There we go.
What if I do like a little bit of like that? How's that?
There you go.
You should wear like a bandana.
Fun fact: we're on this band chat or whatever. It's like a WhatsApp thing, but we have a band chat on there. And anyway, with COVID, Phil, who's our guitar player, but he's he does all the music and stuff, but. So Phil just like he's moved into the boonies and he was quite safe and everything. So on WhatsApp, it's like everybody's like, when are we going to jam? When are we going to jam? When are we going to jam? And I'm like, guys, just stop bugging, So finally, he's like left the chat group. And so everybody's, figures, he said, I'm going on a hiatus, do whatever you guys want. And that was it, right? So then, obviously not. But it's like, I know there are a lot of bands out there jamming and stuff like that with different situations, but I mean, if somebody doesn't feel comfortable with something, last thing, and right now, honestly, we can get back and start rehearsing, and it's kind of old hat pretty quick. But it's been a long time, like since we rehearsed, so but it'll come back bigger and better. Yeah.
Just like riding a bike, you'll pick up your instruments and then give it a little bit, and boom, you'll be rocking again. Like,
yeah.
You get back on it and you go, damn, I forgot how hard this was.
It'll come back bigger and better, and probably some move ads and changes. Oops, did I say that?
Yeah. Hey, Will, how are you, buddy? Nice to see you, Will.
Hey, Will. It's Will Lake.
Will Lake.
Hey,
yes.
Will, are you related to Ricky?
Oh,
nice. Don't
But
take
talking
that
about-
crap from him, Will.
Yeah, Rick.
You mean
Getting back.
Ricky Lake?
Yeah, Ricky Lake.
So
Isn't that
listen, we've all talked about something cool that's happened the last week or so. Now it's your turn, Richard. You got a good story for us, or what?
Well,
Anything cool happened lately?
Nothing really cool. I mean, I took a drive out to the country. Got myself some butter.
Butter.
Made some, got some butter.
Yeah.
Made some cookies.
Yeah.
Good. Well,
Nice.
How
Oh,
are
I
the
got-
cookies working for you?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I
all
have
right.
some.
I was actually surprised. I was expecting when they were baking in the oven that the smell was going to be like really bad, and you couldn't smell it. Like I was surprised. Like, and even
wow.
like once they were done, like even with the taste, you can like unless your nose is like right on the cookie, you can't smell it. You can barely taste it, and yeah, it's all good.
That's
So,
awesome. That's
what he's
awesome.
trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, is take cookies to work.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what? I still don't get. Okay, it's like whatever. As far as weed goes, yeah, sure. Ringo's done that occasionally, but what I don't get is I saw a couple of times service vans for big companies where the techs or mechanics or whatever are sitting in their truck smoking weed.
No,
On the
duty.
job. On the job. Yeah.
I've worked in construction and at night, and it's pretty common. Everything, right?
Ooh,
Some guys bring beer to work. Some guys bring weed. Some guys do coke. It's there.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because I've had to deal with. Once upon a time, I used to be in charge of a lot of teams and had to deal with those situations where, people have an addiction and they bring it to work with them. So they aren't the ones that are, quote, a productive alcoholic or a productive
Functional
drug user. Yeah, functional, I suppose. Yeah, you're right. They're actually bringing it to work, right? So, but anyway, it's not fun to deal with. It's really not, and especially you get into union environments where you think, okay, good communication. The union. It's I don't want to say what union, but they tend to like the minute somebody puts in a grievance. They're right behind it. It doesn't matter. They could have fucking murdered somebody, duck and murdered somebody. But anyway, yeah. So I just don't get, like, with weed, there aren't any rules really. I mean,
there are though. Like if you get caught at work with weed, it's same as drinking or anything else. You're getting the boot.
I wouldn't want to get caught with a joint in my mouth by a police officer driving a car.
No, I get it, but people do it. I mean, it's obvious, right?
Obviously, just like having a can of beer in your hand, wave to the cop as he drives by.
Also, with the weed, people have been doing it so long because it was illegal that now that it's legal, like I got a couple friends who are OPP, and the one thing my buddy says is that people, because they think it's legal, they just go, "Oh yeah, I got weed here." So it's like, okay, you're going to be that open with weed. Let me have a look through your car, and that's where they find the coke. Right.
Right. So let me ask you this then. So you live in a duplex or triplex, right?
Yep.
Your neighbor just smokes weed 24/7.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, is that fair to the other people who don't? And
of course not.
Whatever.
Yeah. It's not, but it's the same as a guy, like, I don't drink, standing out with a bunch of guys drinking. You know what I mean?
No, you're not gonna smell beer through 3 units.
But you may. That's true. No,
I think, Johnny, that's what
but you
you're
may
getting
see
at,
the
right?
cans.
Yeah.
You may get rowdy.
You're alluding to the smell going through all the different units.
Yeah, there's no exactly. See, this is where I think
cigarettes.
Right. Same thing though, right? Like technically, and a lot of people have illegal apartments in houses, but a lot of them they all have common air handling systems, right?
Yep.
So, and they're not commercialized, so they can't separate or HEPA filter out these toxins really, because as much as we advocate that weed's, fine, it's a lot better than sort of cigarettes, and it's got all these miracle cures. If I ain't smoking it, I don't want to be smelling it unless I'm, like if it's just kind of like kicking back, watching TV or something like that, and you're at somebody's house and all of a sudden, it's coming down the system. But I don't know. I don't think.
Look how different it has been with cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
Like back in our day when we were younger, 20 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, it was common to smoke in a house.
Yeah.
How many people's houses do you go into now that even smoke, let alone let you smoke in their house?
Yeah, it became more of a...
Even going to a restaurant and people sitting down smoking with their dinner, right?
Everybody had McDonald's ashtrays in their basement.
Right, McDonald's ashtrays.
Take a stack when you're there and put them in your basement, right?
But it's quite disgusting when you think about it, because I remember one of my aunts, they smoked like a chimney, and a buddy of mine did some renos, and anyway, long story short, the walls were so thick, we thought the walls were painted yellow, but it was nicotine, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, this is so crazy, but
my grandfather's house, same way. Just years of cigarette smoke just building up.
Or you see guys with white beards, right? And nicotine out their nose.
Well, it's talking about crazy things. I mean, I remember in the 70s when, like, the smoking thing and, tobacco and all that's bad for you kind of was in its early days and it was gathering momentum. You'd go in a movie theatre. I don't know if it was the same here, but certainly in England. Like, before the movie started, there was this like the big screen, and it had a cigarette burning on one side, on, say, the left-hand side of the screen. And on the right-hand side would say, this is the right-hand side of the theatre is the no smoking section.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. You know what I mean?
Well, people like
it's on the left-hand side. I'm fine.
So they have bylaws now that you have to be a distance away from a building. But Murph brings up a good point. Like, okay, if you're renting a unit, go to the landlord and voice your concern. Well,
what about a townhouse?
Well, here's the thing. What if you moved in? Let's say it's a duplex or a triplex. You're the first renter. Okay. Nowhere in your lease does it say that you're shacked up with heavy weed users, right? Yet they come in after the fact and they're smoking up a chimney, right? Like, I mean, it's just, I don't think it's fair. I think that should allow you to either get out of that lease, or there needs to be some kind of a
clause. Yeah.
But also abdicating on this part, a lot of weed smokers, if you say something to them, they're going to be, yeah, dude, whatever, I'll move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're obviously going to get some guys who are the stereotypical in between, say, 20 and 30-year-olds who are like, no matter what you're doing, they're going to tell you to fuck off. I mean, they're going to tell you to leave, right? But for the most part, from my experience anyways, and I have met one or two potheads in my life, if you say something to them, they'll change for you. I didn't know that was blowing in your backyard. I'm sorry, I'll go out front.
I think
I'll
it's
go
also
to my
how
car.
you approach people too, right?
Yeah.
So a good approach would be
yo, pass me that, but we got to talk about this.
I know. Well, to change the subject, I got some really sad news.
Uh-oh.
He's out of beer.
I went out in the backyard today and I was checking on the girls.
And
I found out one of the girls is a boy.
But you got it quick enough, right?
Yeah.
So you killed him?
You find out in a week.
Yeah.
Do you smoke him?
No,
you don't even give him the honor of burning it. You just rip him up.
That is a doornail.
Crush it.
Done. Yeah.
So Heiko, for people who don't know, how do you tell the difference in between a male marijuana plant and a female marijuana plant?
Well, kind of. It's very simple. Like people always say, men have balls. Male marijuana plants have balls. Right? You have the stem, and then you have a little branch or a leaf comes off, and right in that little corner in the joint, you'll have a tiny little ball forming. Like it looks like almost like a little seed.
So like
And the females will be hair.
Concept
Yes,
of the twig.
it's like a little bush, right? Sorry to say that, but it's like a little bush. It's all little sprouts of hair of stuff growing out of that corner, but the males have a little ball. So when you see that on your male plant, the male plant has to come out and has to be destroyed because it will actually stop female plants from having proper blooms and buds.
So that's right at
turn it into a hermaphrodite.
Yeah, up to 5 kilometers away.
Jesus.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. Just
That
kill
far?
It might even be more than 5 kilometers.
Damn.
Yeah, I have right. It's just right over there. I have a big, huge book. It's the marijuana growing encyclopedia, the Bible. I think it's called the Bible. It's
You
an
gotta think
incredible book.
how far does a bee fly, right?
Right.
So whatever a bee flies is
Can
how far
pollinate,
that's
yeah.
going to cross pollinate.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
think
have
a
to- I'm
bee
gonna check my
flies
girls.
further.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So hey
'Cause I
guys,
think they're up to like 50K or something.
couple of things. We got to get to the trivia.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say
Raffia.
that was a horticultural section of the show. Hope you enjoyed that, folks.
Thanks, George.
For the green thumbs.
And we should probably do a topic on that one, because that would be fascinating.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and butter is better, right, Derek? And
Butter is better.
Margarine. Okay.
So
No,
we're gonna we're gonna tee up the
No parquet
the
here.
trivia. But
Right.
one thing that's been burning on probably some of our minds is the fact that on the 24th of this month, the U.S. actually discloses
All the UFOs.
report, and that was part of a COVID-19 committee. Will be part of a committee response.
Yeah.
And it's actually part of COVID, and there was a section on it that's for unidentified. What is it? UAP or UFOs?
How they can relate it to
UAP.
COVID
UAP
is
now, I think,
just
Derek.
phenomena.
UAP is the new UFO.
Well, that is- I think
unidentified aerial phenomena. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're like, UFO has that bad what do they call that?
Stigma.
Association.
Stigma.
Yeah, that bad stigma. So now it's not UFO, it's UAP.
Well,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So let's.
Well, one's a
start
government
down-
and one's public, right?
I'm curious to see what's going to be in those files, though.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
because
speculation-
they shut that down in the 70s, and they said we have like a moratorium or silence on any of the UFO information for 50 years.
Yeah,
That's craziness.
And yeah, but it's true. That's what they did.
we're almost
People
there,
wanted
though.
to know, and it was silence. It was locked up for 50 years, and this Friday is the end of the 50-year time, and it's time to spill your beans.
But look, they did the same thing with JFK, right?
Yeah.
That's being released this year.
Yeah, the JFK they just released. Well, it was the other year, wasn't it? 2 years ago or something. They released the declassified information.
Oh,
Yeah,
did
but-
they? Okay. I
Yeah,
thought it was
but-
happening this- okay, my bad.
no, I'm pretty sure they did, but it was half blacked out already.
Yes.
So George,
Half of it was missing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was all redacted, right?
Yeah. It's like,
So
come
you're getting-
on.
out of 100 pages, you're getting 3 lines.
Yeah. Well,
so
one of
this
the
is going to
things.
be a hot topic we're going to get back to, but
We'll know more next
let
week.
us
Oh,
rip.
when it comes
Yeah.
out. But I mean, one of the things about these UFO like sightings and the videos and all the rest of it is, back in the day when the Cold War was on and we had satellites, whatever they were, up in space, and we could actually, I remember saying we can read a headline in Red Square in Moscow from up in space and blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, technology's moved on from them then even more so. So why is it that with all this, we can take great pictures with the technology, all these videos or films, we're going to call them, they're always so grainy and horrible. Why don't we ever get some really good?
Exactly. Yeah.
Just-
Right.
Well,
Okay,
the best
well-
I've seen is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So, oops. Hang on.
Hi.
Sorry. Hey guys. Oh, there we go. We're back. So yeah, that was trivia. So moving right along.
That's our trivia section of the show.
That's our trivia
Yeah.
section.
I hope you didn't miss it, folks.
George, you bring up a good point
Tell you
because
what, let's get the damn thing done. Right, there's your
Yeah,
album.
right now,
Let's do it.
right now.
Right, we're doing it.
Come on, Ringo, put him front center. Big screen.
This has been redacted here. This has been redacted, so you can't see the title of the album.
Oh, so just like the files, it's been blacked out, so we can't see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at the third eye up there. That's cool.
Yeah. Very psychedelic. Very psychedelic. Who's the band?
Yeah, that's the back of the album cover, folks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who's on the front? What's the band?
Yeah.
There's eyeballs all over the place. That's cool.
Yeah.
It is. I can't tell. It's Live Aid. No, I don't know.
No, it's like I think it's from 68.
Oh.
And it's in mono. It's in glorious mono as well.
Oh,
Mono.
wow.
And this is actually.
Can I guess it? Can I guess it? I think I know it.
Go on then.
Cream.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap, Derek. Nice job.
Yeah.
And this is
I just psychedelic, and then 68. I'm like, yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, and I got this for my 16th birthday from my first girlfriend.
Nice.
Wow.
It's the very copy.
And how's your first girlfriend doing? Is she on Facebook?
I don't know. It's Jacqueline Harvey.
I think you should thank her.
I did many times. I'm sure I did at the time. She bought me a couple of albums while we were together.
Nice.
Yeah. That was for my birthday. I remember for the Christmas, she bought me a Traffic album, the second Traffic album. And then I went my merry way. So,
You got the two albums gone.
So I'm done now.
That's a better deal than most musicians get.
See, I think we should do that next Monday. We should bring up a lot of information about all this UFO stuff, and I think you should maybe look for some album covers. I know I'm not going to tell you the names of the bands, but there were some great bands that had a lot of UFO stuff. Right?
Like UFO?
Yeah.
Oh, you spoiled it.
And all these Tom people.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
recently
like
they had that military footage got released, and they had that one object. It dropped like 60,000 feet in a second.
Yeah.
And there was no heat signature. There was no propulsion system that could detect.
No.
It was active. It was actively blocking sonar and radar.
Yeah.
And
that's Virgin on time travel, isn't it?
I don't know, but
No.
if all that's part of like the UFO stuff that's being released, I can't wait. Like,
Yeah, but the Inspector Clouseau debugged that one. He said it was a fruit fly inside the camera.
yeah,
No, but also again, with this technology in UFOs or UAPs or whatever, what if it is technology that we as humans have, and say it's Russia or China or someone, and you think they're gonna like, hey Canadians, by the way, we got this thing that looks like a Tic Tac, and it can fly and go on angles.
Well, hold on. Russia released the information and the footage and all that stuff of that. They have a supersonic missile that cannot be taken down by any known defense system currently by any country in the world.
Huh. Wow, I didn't know about that.
Right.
So if they
where did they get it from?
So if they had a technology that they could drop 60,000 feet in a second, I'm sure they'd let everyone know so that they were we're the dominant power. We have this technology. We can be there and gone before you can even sound your alarm, right?
Yeah.
See, and we had this conversation just, I think yesterday. I was saying, if there really are aliens on Earth, they must know what the human race is like. Do you honest to God think they would let us know that they're here? Like, really?
Well, yeah, we can't even get along as a person, let alone get along as a planet.
Would never ever tell us that they're here because of the way we are, right?
But that's assuming they think like we do.
Yes.
Right, like for myself, and again, my own personal opinion,
Yeah.
with all the, I don't know how it goes, but universes and galaxies and solar systems, to think that in all of existence we're the only intelligent life that exists anywhere seems a little, I don't know, it seems naive to me.
Arrogant.
I think. Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
That's
yes,
the
thank
word.
you.
Arrogant.
Now, what if say there is aliens? What if the aliens, like us to an anthill type of thing, they come? Do you think they're going to ask us, hey, do you guys mind if we come here? Because we are where we are in our galaxy and our everything. We are placed in a sweet spot, right? It's not too hot, it's not too cold. We got a little bit of everything. Where most planets are frozen, or they're going to be fried because they're too close to the star, right, or the sun.
Yeah.
So, are they going to come here and just go, "Hey guys, we want to live here because you guys have a sweet spot," or are they just going to come and go zap and kill everybody?
You don't know what another intelligent life force finds as adequate living space. It might be a planet that's 3,000 degrees on the surface, or it might be something that's what we don't know. This is us. We live here, right?
But but as I said again, there's going to be more planets that are this close to the sun. Like look at how many millions of galaxies are out there, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's going to be other planets, I think, that are going to have life or some kind of life form on it.
water carbon based beings can live in this type of atmosphere, right?
And the right rocks hit each other to start up the carbon to.
So the Tic Tac video is what Richard started to refer to.
Right. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen it.
This is
there you go.
That's an image. Actually, it's from the. Let me.
That was the military.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was.
I don't know if was that a destroyer or was that aircraft that got that, Johnny?
It was. Let's see here. So still from
this is
a video.
F-18.
Yeah, an F-18.
Oh, it's right there on the right there in the picture.
Super
oh
Hornet.
My goodness!
Released by the U.S. Department of Defense, showing an encounter between a Navy F-18 Super Hornet and an unknown object. And credit for that photo is the U.S. Department of Defense. So
that's above the clouds, obviously. See, it looks like clouds underneath.
Right. So I'm going to take the image off the screen because it's just kind of in the way for you guys. But
I want to see the images that are 50 feet away, not the ones that are blurry, black and white.
They couldn't get the jets couldn't get close to it. They went wide open and they couldn't keep up to it.
Well, I've also seen another one where it was 3 jets went out and they were circling this one object. One jet went down, and because they do the swerve pattern to get down, right? Yeah. And the object followed them, and just before they intercepted, it disappeared.
Yeah.
Just poof.
It was gone, and he asked the other 2 pilots, "Hey, did you guys see it?" And they're like, "Yeah," and it's gone.
Yeah.
Here's my question. So I'm just going to throw it over here. So say that Tic Tac video is that craft is not from Earth, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, what does that mean for like for religion? For example, what does that mean for what does it tell us? There is other life out there. Are we going to try and seek it out? Are we going to try and communicate with it?
Well, as I said, we can't even. I personally think we can't even get along as a world.
Right.
Right. So how is one country that can't get along with another country, if something happens in the world, going to get together and say, "Hey, let's all work together," even though I don't like you because your God says Bob and my God says Flob.
Yeah.
So it's.
Well, it's a great question because it could have a lot of different outcomes. Because there's a lot of radicals and a lot of things going on, obviously with COVID and everything else in the world, right? So I mean, like COVID itself, I mean, like there's probably a good majority that believe it was a man-made virus, right? Because it was done in a lab, right? But anyway, without getting into all of that, the timeliness of this release, if it says anything at all that or shows that there is proof that either aliens exist or are on the planet or there's been ongoing communication, whatever, then it's an interesting time to be dropping that message, right? Yeah. I know the 50-year mark. It's actually not exactly the 50-year mark, but this was put in the committee. The document was a COVID-19 document, and there was a whole section on releasing, because the issue was it was disclosure, that anything that would pose a military threat or a threat to humanity, right? So that section was added to the COVID-19 document. So,
but do you think there's an agenda behind this that the States has? I kind of think there could be.
There could be. Who knows?
What is the agenda?
There's tons of conspiracy theories going on, but there's some speculation, on that the message, nothing's going to be released, right? They're going to postpone it. There's a lot of, and right now there's nothing other than this video that we've seen and some other recent, questionable videos. This one here that's, vetted by, ranking officials in the military. I mean, so what's compelling for me,
I need a drink. That's it.
Yeah, have a drink. But what's compelling on that is that Bob Lazar, right, who back in the 80s was a
Cheers, everybody.
Richard, I just looked it up quick.
Yeah.
The JFK assassination, the records came out in 2018, April.
Awesome. I wonder how much of that is like marketed
Black?
or whatever, right?
All of it. So it's still all hidden.
And I wonder if they're going to do that with any of the UAP stuff, right? When it's released on Friday.
Yeah, it might have a whole bunch of blackout areas, but
it'll be a picture like that with a big black blob in the middle. Oh, sorry.
Would be the first time.
I was also like, does anybody spend a lot of time outside?
Yeah.
And do you look up at the stars at night? You have nothing else to do, so you look up.
Yep.
There is stuff you see that we don't know.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
You go, oh, hey, that's a satellite, but what's those three things there or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So have a look at this picture again, because here's something that's very interesting. So look at the shape. It's kind of a saucer shape, but in the video, it's kind of like the way it's moving, it's not like a saucer. Like if you look at the horizon, it's either moving the belly towards the horizontal with the horizon or the top. But so Bob Lazar, who claimed to have worked at Area 51, who drew a saucer-like spacecraft, said that the propulsion system, and that's what he was hired for, was to reverse engineer the propulsion system, said that it worked on an anti-gravity process or mechanics. So what he said was that this thing would rise when they do the tests, because they did tests, I think it was like every week on a Wednesday or something like that. So this thing would rise up and it would turn with the belly facing the direction it wanted to go in and start to move very quickly. And he explained it as being some kind of an antimatter propulsion system. So like a magnet, when a magnet gets close to another magnet, they start to push apart, right? And so that's kind of the effect he was trying to explain. So in the video, there's a Netflix movie about Bob and his experience. And in that video, they actually refer to this Tic Tac video, kind of vindicating him for information that he kind of put out there 30 years ago. So, and in addition to that, there were other things that have kind of come to light, like the access mechanism for Area 51, which was a hand scanner. They had no hands. They didn't have what we have today with fingerprints and retina scan.
Yeah, retina scan and all that.
What they had was this little machine that would take X-rays, a quick X-ray of your bone size, and apparently everybody's bones are uniquely different sizes.
Yeah.
So
put up your hands, all bent or
right,
longer.
Right. So so that device was found in, I don't know, some kind of yard sale or something, surplus sale. 30 years after he was trying to explain, and they said, no, this stuff doesn't even exist. But lo and behold, now it's found. So a lot a lot of the stuff that's happening now, I think Bob laid it out pretty clearly. And then there was this this fuel. What fuels the propulsion system is a product called Element 15, or sorry, 115, which is
115.
was not on the periodic table of elements until I think 2 years ago. The Russians actually.
Isn't 115 a metal?
It's a metal, yeah.
But it's not an organic to Earth metal.
Correct. Yeah. So now it's a thing. It's an actual element, but the issue becomes, can it be stabilized or not? So anyway, so that's the Bob Lazar thing in a nutshell. But it's really interesting when you see that video, how that UFO reacts, right? The Tic Tac video.
A lot of people too say like the pulse. There's a pulse reaction. Sometimes the light that they see flashes or does the pulse, and it's rhythmical, right? Like it's every 3 seconds.
Okay.
And then other times it's sporadic, where it'll be 3 seconds, 7 seconds, 28 seconds. It all depends. And sometimes you'll see it go like 3 or 4 times rapidly, and it's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so who knows what kind of compulsion again, right?
On Facebook, there's a couple of sites. One's called UFO Disclosure or something. But there's interesting comments about, Derek, you mentioned, like, why are all these photos blurry? The more compelling ones, right? Yeah. Well, there's some conjecture that it's because of the anti-gravity propulsion system that doesn't stabilize, so it wreaks havoc on your camera, so you can't get a really solid shot. Makes some sense, really, but it's theory, right? Like
I see that, but when they're like the videos and podcasts I was listening to today, there was people like saying, pilots that were saying these videos you see are nothing compared to what they have, and they're talking about having full on pictures of them from 50 feet away, where they're right above their cockpit, and you can see there is no cockpit. There's no
it's a matter of what we're going to be allowed to see.
Right. Yeah, it's a solid object.
And so it's going to be declassified, but still classified because it's going to be all blacked out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there was a scientist I was watching a podcast the other day, and he's been tracking what was thought to be a meteorite, and it looks like a cigar. And it's like this little tiny light in the universe. But through probably Hubble telescope or whatever, he's got some enough data to build a render of it, and it's like this sort of cigar shaped rock. The interesting thing about it is it can propel itself, so it speeds up, slows down, and it changes course. So they're thinking that it's alien. So
Cheech and Chong.
It could be a big reefer in the sky, right?
It could be, or it could be a new bomber that somebody's made and they haven't said anything. Kind of like, I don't know the letters and stuff, but the stealth bomber, right?
Yeah.
Right. Nobody knew about that until was it the Afghan War, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, what's this thing? And it comes flying in, and now it's not top secret anymore because there's pictures and it's been used.
So Derek, I don't know if it was you or George made the point about, well, what if it is homegrown, right? These UFOs were made somewhere here. Well, there was an ex military. He was an intelligence agent, and he said that if it's a case of strategically we've been leapfrogged by other powers in the world, and we have a bigger problem on our hands.
That'd be a hell of a leapfrog, right?
So, it would be. He's saying, let's hope it's aliens, because if somebody on Earth has technology that advanced, we're in trouble, right?
Yeah. I did. I saw that same video. Yeah. And it's true, because that's where us as humans, we can't even get along and get all of our little groups together.
Yeah.
No. And I don't think it's nothing from us, right? And there's a really interesting concept, like Richard said it earlier on, about how do we know what alien is, right?
We are.
And there was a fabulous documentary I watched once, and it was about our radioactive waste that we create on our planet. They're running out of places to store it. And there's a place, I think it's in Sweden, in the mountains. They dug mines that go 5 kilometers deep. And what they started doing is they started storing radioactive waste down in these mines, right? And they would take them, it would went down, and then they had tunnels. And in those tunnels, there were chambers. And in those chambers, they would put so much waste, and they would slowly fill up a tunnel. And then they would backfill the entire tunnel full of concrete. And they've been building this thing for years. And the one thing the guy said, he says, all right, the interesting fact is this radioactive waste has a shelf life of 100,000 years.
Yep.
All right.
Only.
So, yeah, only.
Only 100,000.
So he said, now think of this. We are very tiny, very minute. And if you try and conceive what 100,000 years is, he had this chart. He went like 500 BC, right? And then it was a scale with little lines marking the years all the way up to 2000, where we are now. So you saw the scale, 500 BC to 2000. And then what he said, now we're going to put 100,000 at the end of the scale, and we're going to slowly, expand the screen. And that thing, the 2000 years, just got so small that you couldn't even see it. And it was like a hair, and it kept going out and out and out and out. And finally, you got to see the 100,000 mark. So that's how long 100,000 years is.
What do they figure the Earth is 5 billion years old or something?
Well, and they said, we might not be here 500 years from now.
Right.
Who knows what will happen on this planet? So how do we warn other beings from somewhere else not to mine here, because this whole chamber is full of radioactive waste and could kill them? How do we warn anybody? They don't know what the language is, if they're visual, if whatever. So when you talk alien, we have no concept what alien is.
Well, what about the opposite
Right?
of what's going on? What about if they've already been here and left? That's,
Well, that's another
pyramids,
big concept.
right?
One of the concepts is that they put us here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I've heard
Who's the writer? Stitchin? If you look up his work, Stitchin is his name.
That's
We were put here as working slaves.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mining gold.
For an alien race. And they come back every so many years and check on us and blah, blah, blah.
And precious metals are still a thing. But maybe now, because we've gotten into Bitcoin and fictional sort of stock and stuff like that, maybe now it's time to kind of like reveal why we're here. So Richard, we let's hear from you. We'll go a little into overtime, but what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, like I said, for me, like I'm curious about these UFO files, and like what happens if the U.S. military has been sitting on these things where they have absolute proof that there are these crafts out there and they're made of materials not from Earth, which pretty much confirms that there's other life out there in the universe besides us. What does that mean for everyone? How's that going to affect everyone? But a friend of mine had said it was a drinking night, and they said, if there's such thing as UFOs and if they ever come to Earth, aren't you a little bit afraid of where they land? Like if they go to the wrong country, and one country might try and communicate with them, where another country is like, oh no, we're being invaded. They're just going to try and shoot them out of the sky and start some sort of craziness,
Yeah, like America.
Yeah, but you're right, because there's different beliefs on this planet, and even religion. You hit that earlier. Like
religion.
So think about that. So if a UFO landed in broad daylight, hovering over the CN Tower, the response of that is going to be different than, say, it goes over top of Moscow or over top of Beijing or,
Yep.
And two, we were talking about this before the show, is if something like that happens where the aliens are forcing forcing you to know that they're here, right? Rather than the government telling you. how it's going to be perceived different. Because whatever government tells you, people are going to go, well, shit, you guys have been lying to us since the 40s,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
47, I think, is not when the weather balloon went down and they were the crash test dummies that were 6 foot tall and 175 pounds made out of wood.
Yeah.
Instead of,
So President Biden was on I guess he was doing some kind of a speaking thing, and so he was kind of confronted by a reporter asking the question about the disclosure, and he started to laugh, and he just sort of blew it off and called his aide and said, "Let's get out of here." Right, and that was it, right? So
so people are reading into that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I wouldn't expect a whole heck of a lot, but an order's an order. I mean, if I think if the public doesn't get something, it's just going to have so many for the last 40 years we've been speculating and creating a lot of everything's subject to interpretation. And I heard somebody saying that UFOs, with the grainy photography and the lack of data and speculation, that's where they like to live, which is absolutely true. So it's like finding the Loch Ness monster and capturing it. It's like, okay, the mystery's solved. It's done. It's no big deal, right?
Yeah.
Classify it as a species and we move on. It's
did anyone hear?
Right?
Sorry. Did anybody hear whether or not with these files that are being released, is it just paper files? Are there images going to be released? Are there videos going to be released? Or
I heard there was supposed to be videos and pictures.
Yeah.
See, okay, because that's a game changer right there, right?
It is.
Yeah, and from the little tricklings of military influence or even former military, they feel that there will be something coming out. But I mean, if you're the president, and this has often happened, right? Like, look at Obama. Obama's like, wow, look, let's see it, right? So he's kind of anxious.
He would have had access. Obama would have had access, though.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. Like, I mean,
I think there's a fine line there between that type of military outfit, let's say Area 51, and the guy that rules the country. Like, I think it would be totally military, where even the military doesn't tell the government what they have.
Well,
right?
kind of like where $2.3 trillion went missing, and the next day 911 happens.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Well,
yeah.
So right. So I was just going to say the same thing. There's a multi-trillion. I think it's at least $1 trillion for what's called a black budget, right? And nobody knows what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
And the speculation is it's for
MIB.
But it's used on R&D and stuff like that. But it's not talked about. It's not reported. You can't.
No.
You can't report any inventory or anything. So it's just a budget for something. So and
the security stuff they had around.
That's a lot of money for something.
Yeah. The security they had around that place, like motion detectors and sensors that could feel vibrations from miles away, like all this crazy stuff out in the middle of BF nowhere. Yeah. Like why is that stuff even there?
Right? Well, because if they're making planes and stuff that they don't want other countries to find out about.
Yeah.
So the area, okay, so there's Area 51, and then there's this sort of hangar area lab, which apparently was the UFO lab, but it's kind of it's camouflaged. It's part of a side, like the side of a rock or wall, allegedly. But I went to Vegas about 2 years ago, and my plan was grabbing a Harley. I'm part of a rental group, so it's easy enough to do. And I was going to ride out to Area 51 and see how close I could get. Then I thought, well, you know what? It was really cold. The weather wasn't great, and I'd rather go with multiple bikes. And so I decided to book a tour, and then unfortunately the tour got canceled. But I really wanted to go out there. But you're absolutely right. Like, people get shut down before they're anywhere close to the base, right?
Yeah.
So
whether you're in the air or on the ground, it doesn't matter.
Right. So if you're listening or watching out there, you can go to Google Earth and look up Groom Lake. Groom Lake is the dried lake bed area where the Area 51.
Yeah, you can look at it
exists.
on Google.
Well,
I've seen it.
Nobody would ever call it Area 51 before. It was always called Groom Lake, or I can't remember the other name.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
well, and there's speculation that the actual Area 51 is in a completely different part of the world.
Yes.
It's a decoy. So it's a decoy site.
Yeah.
Get everyone to focus here. Get everyone to focus here. We're actually doing all your stuff over there.
But Bob Lazar, who I do believe actually for a bunch of reasons, because they've done with the Bob Lazar story, they've done a lot of they've gotten psychiatrists to watch the videos, do the body language analysis and all of that. And he's come up completely clean. He's gone through lie detectors. He's gone through hypnosis, and he's passed everything. So
do you watch Rogan?
Yeah, I've watched all of those with Lazar on it. Yeah,
because Rogan at one point was a huge disbeliever. Sorry to cut you off. Rogan was a big disbeliever in UFOs, and so he's the Lazar is like the spokesperson, poster child for the UFO people, and so he wanted to debunk Lazar, and actually what he wound up doing was proving it because they found his employment records.
Yep.
To show that he was there when he said he was there, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 30 years ago, Bob Lazar, when it came to his employment records, so he was actually contracted through an employment agency to the base and everything. So it was like 2 or 3 steps to get there. But they discredited it. This guy was into jet propulsion, right? Yeah. So there are pictures, video, 9mm pictures of him with a rocket on his bicycle, right? So this is how into jet propulsion. High school stuff. Yeah, so the guy's a genius, but they tried to debunk his degree, right? So he had a degree in a physics degree, and
one would probably be biochem too or something.
Yeah, biochemical physics, whatever. But they went to the universities looking for him, no record. They looked on employee lists, no record. Then they found a phone book. They found a phone book with his phone number in it for the base, right? And the base was called S4, which was part of Groom Lake, which was the UFO reverse engineering facility. So when they found that, then other things started to trickle out. And you're absolutely right, Richard. So the Joe Rogan thing became, reinforcement for sure. And Bob, I mean, he keeps saying that, you know what, he doesn't, even though you can go on he has a website, but it's he actually runs a store where he builds fireworks, and he supplies different industries with beryllium and all kinds of chemicals, right?
Yeah.
And beryllium's used in spacecraft, actually.
Yeah, it's actually a crazy product.
So there's a speculation that Bob somehow has a sample of element 115, which apparently can't be stabilized if it's such a thing. But I guess so he never confirms or denies any of that. But his lab has been broken into, and so on and so on. But his credibility over the years was, he came out with that story, then, he was kind of struggling with it because there was no proof really back then. And then he got into some trouble with opening up or working with some ladies of the evening, I suppose, to support some kind of a business for them. But he's just a interesting guy, and but very brilliant. And this story has he's trying to bring back a game, which is, you remember the old Meccano sets and the
Oh wow, yeah.
the electronic boards where you can make like radios and all that.
Yep.
Well, there was one in the 50s called it was an atomic. It was actually a nuclear.
Yeah.
You could build a little nuclear device, right? That was probably he said one of the most dangerous toys ever made.
Yeah.
But he's trying to reinvent that now, and very interesting guy. But I firmly believe him. People, you say that, that could be some kind of a some kind of psychosis or something, that he believes what he believes to the point where, he can pass a lie detector test and everything else. But
the story's never changed.
He has never wavered.
As he also says too, what did they throw in for decoys? Because they'll let everybody see a little bit of something, so they know if anything gets out, who it came from.
Absolutely,
yeah. Wow, it's all pretty interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Fascinating. So we'll see, I guess, on Thursday, right?
Yeah, let's. Is it Thursday or Friday?
Yeah, I was going to say
Thursday.
It was
24th.
Thursday, I think, yeah.
Thursday.
But we may not get anything. Like, if they release it on Thursday, we might not hear anything till Friday or what.
Yeah.
Pilot blanked out. Says he saw blanked out. On blanked out.
And here's the photo, blob.
Yeah.
Well, that's
you can almost expect that, right? Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's somebody going through, like,
They've been busy with the
permanently
markers, like, over the last couple of years, knowing this time's coming.
I don't know, though. I mean, we're in a different time now, and like, it's. I don't even want to say it's a maturity thing. I mean, people back in the 50s were like, we know so much more, and technology is so advanced now in terms of, like, say, our phones and everything else. So it's really time, right? I mean,
I was going to say,
people are going to get something on a camera that's vivid at some point, and then give up the goose. So what? You're lying to us? Now it's almost like an amnesty, right? Come clean with us. Give us. Maybe it's not the entire picture, but give us something, right?
I think there needs to be another step, because we haven't had any big step for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had the big bombs and weapons back after the war and all that kind of stuff. And our technology has just constantly gone up. We've got all this new stuff on us, but there has never been another breakthrough of any sort. You know what I mean?
With that, though, Heiko, like, if you just look at how far we've gone in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
From 2,000 years ago up to this last 100 years, how much we've jumped in that 100 years. So what has changed in that 100 years so drastically that we go from not even being able to talk on a telephone to being able to see your face on this computer that we're looking at right now?
Right.
Yeah.
In 100 years.
Yeah.
So,
and that might be what's opening people's minds to being open to UFOs, is that there's so many things that are possible now we never would have dreamed of, like you say, 100 years ago, that people's minds are more open to the idea.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, if you dig on like YouTube, whatever, they found very ancient mechanical artifacts now, in more than one, that suggests that, way back, like, we're talking
pre-pyramid.
Pre-pyramid, where you've got actual, like, the one device I saw looked like a mechanical watch.
I
but
saw
it was a clock. Yeah, you saw that, Derek?
Yep.
Amazing, right? A mechanical. Well, they said it was like a clock.
How naive are we to think that there wasn't something way more intelligent than us? Look at the pyramids. Perfect example. The pyramids melted. They got granite that's melted. They had something hot enough to melt granite.
Yeah,
that's like over 3,000 degrees.
Well,
they have stairs. It
we
ran
don't
down
have
the
the
stairs.
technology now to build it the way it was built. Right?
Could we duplicate the pyramid?
No, we can't.
No, we can't.
Right now, we cannot.
It's been tried. As well as some of the monuments and other things that have. Even the crop circles, right? Like, the crop circles became a bit of a hoax lark with a lot of universities and stuff that would go out and try and replicate. But at the end of the day,
2x4.
I mean, it's really hard to do.
The one thing they said about the way the pyramids are built, we can't even create the way the stones fit together. The precision of the fit of those stones is.
Well, how about the axes of them? They're on perfect north and south, perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's wild, and again, that's nobody knows.
Are there no hieroglyphs or anything anywhere, or old scrolls depicting the building of the pyramids?
Not the building of them, but they have ones that show aliens and stuff, like things that look like helicopters and guys with helmets and
the big, very tall humanoid form, much bigger than all the other ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I watch. There was a program on called Destination Truth with Josh. I can't remember his last name, but he's just. I really like his stuff because it's. So he goes all over the world looking into mysteries and stuff like that. But one of them was there's a part of, I think it's in Brazil, where they found these very tiny alien-like skeletons, and several of them, right, with elongated heads and very small, right? So there was some suggestion that these are just almost like a taxidermy, right? And but it I mean, you watch it and it's some of it is like unexplained. They can't doing a DNA test, they can't figure out where it comes from. Now, the correlation between that and what Bob Lazar said about the spacecraft was actually the seats, or what would be the seats in it, were designed for, he said, children at best. So these aliens or beings are small, right? And so anyway, it would be definitely interesting to get some, and like you said, Heiko, maybe it's a transition, right? Give us a little bit more.
Yeah.
You don't need to say, hey, we've got, technology, or we've been communicating, but, don't fry our brains too quickly, because imagine if Area 51,
there's going to be people who will freak out.
Of course.
Right. Area 51 was going to get rushed, 2 years ago now, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And it never happened, and they were warned against that. Nothing happened.
Yeah, well, they also had armed guards waiting for the people that were going to rush.
Right, and there was a big party on site or whatever. But imagine if, it's real, we have them in our possession.
Yeah, we have a spacecraft in our hangar. We've had it for 50 years.
Right.
We don't know how it works. We don't know.
It's our prime minister. It's
whatever. But but you're gonna find out that very quickly, if there wasn't a threat, there's going to be a threat, right? Because other, unless world leaders were kind of in cahoots and they had some kind of a pact about not releasing stuff, the minute that gets discovered, that's going to be a race to see who gets that technology, right? And there'll be battles and wars. So.
Well, I heard someone talking about the whole aliens and pyramids connection and everything. Yeah. They said, okay, let's just argue for a second here that aliens helped build the pyramids, right? Let's say they're real. They came from wherever they came from. Yeah. They gave the people the knowledge and helped them build the tools so they could build these pyramids. Where did these beings go? Why did they leave? Are they gonna
Yeah. Well, see, this is all part of, if you look at the Stitching guy, the aliens were here, they put us here, they've checked on us a few times, and for now, they're just not coming back because who knows? Like, again,
maybe something blew up.
No, nobody knows.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing, there was one TV series that used to be on a science fiction series, and I thought, oh my God, the imagination, what the pyramids were used for, was a landing pad for the spacecraft.
Right.
Yes, right. Stargate.
That was Stargate.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yep.
They had the triangular ships that landed
right over
perfectly
top,
on the pyramid.
Of it. Yep.
Like, holy crap! Like, we don't know. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So we
Makes-
need
it-
proof
it makes
somewhere
sense
down the
though, right?
line.
Mhm.
Somebody's just got to say, well, folks, this is how it is. This is how it was, whatever, and give us something. There's too much unknown.
Huh.
And
There is.
there's too much that the governments are keeping from people. You even go back into history, like around the Second World War time, how much stuff is not talked about, how much stuff is not public knowledge. It's not
Right.
taught, but it was fact, and they were big breakthroughs at the time. You know,
Yeah, it's not hard to believe the government would hide things from people.
of course.
Well, people who think the government doesn't hide things from them are the
Yeah,
ones that
well.
are lost, right?
Hello. Yeah.
Well, Hike, I think we're getting pretty late, and I know I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
I got to get up early in the morning and stuff.
Yeah. Well, Richard, you know what? Grant, it was great having you. I hope we have you on sometime soon. We just had you on for part of the show, but I know you weren't feeling well.
No, it was a great chat. I was trying to see if I could find my my lights and the headset.
Yeah. Do we have a guest on next week at all, guys?
Yes, we do. Next
Jeremy.
week.
Jeremy.
Yes, is Jeremy Yanich. I hope I said your last name right, Jeremy.
Okay.
He's a comedian. So he's got a day job. He does the Earl of Comedy. He hosts a thing in Stouffville, and
Yeah. Awesome.
we'll have him on next week, and we'll find out what it's like to be a comedian.
Well, all right. And then maybe Richard, maybe if we have a spot where you don't have any guests on, we'll invite you back, and maybe we can talk about this in a little more
I will
depth.
make a spot for you, Richard. We won't
Yeah.
just squeeze you in because
You
come
know
on.
what? This was great. Just sit and have an open chat like this.
Yeah, we
Fantastic.
want to hear some more of your security stories.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, I want to hear some of your stories too, George. Like when you're talking about, I went to the pub in 19 whatever and saw
15.
Billy Idol. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
UFO was there.
we can only imagine crap like that. Like
Right.
I could just imagine what that type of like for me. What I want to know what it would be like then compared to going to see someone now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You must have seen
Right.
a huge you must see a big difference, right?
Yeah.
Or what was
People
it like?
don't dance anymore.
Or what was it like going to see certain acts in bars where you're from versus what it was what you found it like in Canada when you got here, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And just the price of concert tickets and
Oh my God.
you could go
Oh,
and see a
Now
few
now it's astronomical. It's crazy concert
so-
tickets.
Yeah. I saw I don't know the
Yeah.
Who or Cat Stevens or Deep Purple for like £1.50.
What?
That's like $3, right? It's just-
Oh man.
Yeah, if you had $10, you could buy a beer, a pack of smokes, and see a concert.
that's right.
Now
Yeah.
now
And
10
some have
bucks,
changed.
10 bucks won't even get you a beer at a show now.
It's
Oh, no kidding.
Crazy. I know it's crazy.
But
you know.
stories are awesome. Like we had Alan Cross on a couple of weeks ago, and the stories he was telling us about bands and music from the days gone by. Like it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's great.
He-
It's great to talk to people about stories and factual stuff. It's just awesome.
Oh yeah,
That's why we like your
met
stories,
ridiculous. Yeah, he's met ridiculous amounts of people, right? Like he's gonna have
yeah.
a million. He's gonna have a million stories.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And he does he's one of those guys too, like remembers everything. You talk to him
Yeah.
about movies, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, who won the whatever Grammy award, or movie award, whatever." I don't know. I won't call it a Grammy.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
cool.
that guy's just he's smart as hell, man.
Yeah. So we'd love to have you back, Richard. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I just want to thank the fans that were listening and were a part of our show tonight. It's always great when you guys send us a message or something. And what we're going to start doing what we're going to start doing though every show is, which we forgot to do again, is we actually have an email address so people can email us and we can read the emails online and talk about them. But
That's
my
right.
God, we've had this for a couple months now, and we keep forgetting to tell you.
That's
So
right.
we'll try that again next week.
We
But I
will.
want to thank Shauna, Richard, Keisha, Murph, Kathy, Sean, Tams, Mary Jane, Ryan, Alana, Grace, Will, and Scott. And if I missed anybody else, sorry, but thanks for being a part of the show. So, guys, you ready to wrap her up?
Wiki
And-
wrap.
Any
Have a
last
great
words?
night, everybody.
Take
Yeah.
it home. Take it home.
All right.
Take it easy, guys. Till next week.
Yeah. Take
Yes.
care.
We love you all, and we hope to see you here again next Monday night at 9:30 on the Heikadelic Show.
Well, that's another wrap for the Heikadelic Show, folks, so time to get dirty. And don't forget, listen in next week on Monday night and every Monday after that for the Heikadelic Show at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like more information on the Heikadelic Show, please find us at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. We'll see you all next week on the Heikadelic Show. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor for the Heikadelic Show, it's easy. Just send us an email at info@theheikedelicshow.com. Meanwhile, you can browse our website at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. Click on our sponsor tab and find out more information on sponsorships. Thanks for joining the Heikadelic Show, fans.